What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely incredible day. I know I am. And if you are, you should press the like button, or otherwise, no joke, no scam, you'll never be able to wash your toes again. Yeah, that's right. If you don't press the like button, then the foot genie is gonna come and make it so your toes will get incredibly stinky, and you don't want that. Anyways, guys, as you can tell from the title of today's video, we're going to be continuing the story that I was telling last time, alright? For those of you guys who didn't see the first part, a link will be in the description. But, basically, I made some emo kids very upset, and they decided to press me in the lunchroom, but, the fight was broken up, thankfully, by a brave stranger who came in and saved my life. But, that wasn't the end, because apparently these emo kids were so mad, they were like, then we'll take the combat outside of the school. And, this part 2 is going to be a little long and complicated, so buckle your seatbelt, and without further ado, let's get into it. So a little bit of a recap. Basically, one day in my art class, which is filled with weeaboos, I made a joke about how the anime community is a little cringe, and those kids got super mad and tried to fight me in the lunchroom. And I thought that was going to be the end of it, okay? After the lunchroom incident, I was like, dang, these kids are going to realize that maybe trying to fight me for no reason is a really bad idea, and they're not going to mess with me anymore. And they didn't mess with me at school, okay? The anime incident happened on a Wednesday, and for the rest of the week until Friday, there was no sweat. There was really nothing going on. There was nothing that was making me think that these anime kids were about to start jumping out of the trees like Japanese surprise attacks and trying to drop bombs on me, okay? Because surprisingly, when someone leaves you alone for 2 days, you're not like, yes, they are plotting my eventual destruction. You're like, dang, these kids are probably going to try to leave me alone. And I wish that's what happened, but as you can tell, it's about to get complicated. And before I had a car and could drive, I had to walk to school. I lived relatively close to my school, so after school I would have to walk past the buses, and it was probably a 5-minute walk to get from my last class back across the street into my neighborhood so I could actually get home. And for the most part, you know, I really didn't think that anyone was ever gonna like follow me home or anything, because that would be weird. It's not every day you're like, that group of anime kids wearing Naruto headbands looks creepily following me. Maybe they're gonna follow me to my house and then challenge me to combat in the driveway. That's just not something you really expect to happen. So whenever I would walk home, I wasn't very conscious of like who was behind me or who was following me, because it's just not something I think about on a daily basis, is who's going to try to follow me home. Call me crazy, it just never really crossed my mind. Plus, I would look really paranoid if that did cross that line. Like, imagine if I started this story. So basically, I think people are perennially trying to stalk me, and so I'm always looking over my shoulder because I'm super paranoid. In fact, whenever I see a cop car, I drive full speed and crash into it just to make sure that they're not following me anymore. So on Friday, I start walking home, and I get across the street. I'm about halfway back to my house, and I turn around, and you know that scene in The Lion King where, like, it's the herd of wildebeest, you know, charging, and he's like, Dad, like, that's how I feel, because when I look back, I'm not even kidding you, it looks like I'm at a Comic-Con in a small Midwestern town, because it is just a bunch of chubby anime kids slowly marching towards me with the beat of a drum. I'm pretty sure I saw one of them Naruto running to keep the pack together, alright? Like, I turn around and I see this, and call me crazy here, it's not every day that there's an anime convention in the middle of my suburban neighborhood, okay? Like, this is not a really common occurrence where anime kids are just booing in my neighborhood like, yo guys, you trying to hang out and chill? Like, haha, let's all hang out and have a good time on the middle of the street near where Ryan lives. Like, that just doesn't happen. So I get a little freaked out because I did have the altercation with them in the lunchroom a little bit earlier, but I'm kind of like, maybe they're going to someone else's house. Maybe one of the anime kids lives near me. It's not that big of a deal. So I start taking another path home. I start to do the zigzags, because I saw one time on a podcast that if you take 4 right turns and people are still following you, then you know they're following you because you went in a circle. So I do the strategy, and I basically go in a big loop around my neighborhood and then like back towards my house, and they're still following me. So at this point, I am confirming that I have a weeaboo pack on my tail, which is guaranteed to basically follow me until I either do one of two things: stop walking, and they can slowly eat me alive like a bunch of zombies, or, and hear me out here, I disappear, and I have my Harry Potter invisibility cloak ready at all times. That's a joke. I can't go invisible. Surprisingly, I wish I could. That would be super sick, but if you subscribe, you can turn invisible. I've tried it. So, during all this, when I'm realizing that these kids are following me and I'm doing this giant loop, I started texting some of my friends, and I'm like, hey, can you guys meet me at my house? I have a group of weeaboos that are following me. And thankfully, I do have a group of good friends, because when I'm starting to go down my street and I can see my house, I see Grant and our other friend's car parked outside, and there's about 6 kids just standing there in my driveway, because I warned them that I have a pack of wild weeaboos that are hunting me down. And I'm not even kidding you, these weeaboos were like a wolf pack, okay? Like, they were howling. At one point, I'm pretty sure sure I saw one of them blink, but it was the lizard eyes, like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, the lizard people are real and they are weeaboos, everyone. Be very careful. So I start walking towards my house and I realize that I have about 8 friends standing in the driveway, right? Like around 8, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly how big my team was. And there's about 14 weeaboos, so we're still outnumbered, all right? And you know it's not going to be a good situation if 8 of your best friends show up and you're still outnumbered 2-1. Like, this just doesn't seem like good odds. So I start walking towards my house, and as I get closer to my house and I cross the street and go into my driveway, the weeaboos suddenly pick up speed. And I don't know if they were trying to be comical, if they were trying to catch me off guard, and they're like, we're going to challenge him to combat but make him giggle first, but I'm not even kidding you. Have you ever seen 15 teenagers in Naruto headbands, Naruto running down the street towards your house? Because I have. I don't know what they thought was like cool about that. It wasn't very intimidating. At no point was I like, wow, you see the way they Naruto run, Grant? That's impressive. I don't know if we should fight them. Like, I don't know what they were going for, but they were Naruto running down the street towards me when I step into my driveway. And they pull up, and the chubby kid from the lunchroom that brought the 2 people over when they like dropped into the karate stance, like, steps forward, and all the Naruto kids are like in a little group, you know, talking, whispering, laughing, and he steps forward and he goes, so, you ready to actually throw down now? And I'm like, dog, listen, we almost fought on Wednesday, bro. It's Friday. That means that you went home for 3 days. And while you were home for those 3 days, instead of doing your homework, instead of playing Xbox, instead of watching anime, you went, damn, I really hate that Ryan kid, and thought about getting your masterful army of weeaboo kids to come to my house. And also, how did you even know that I walked home? Like, how did you do that, right? And I asked him, how did you know? And he says, we've been watching you for 2 days, which is very creepy. No one wants to hear that a sumo wrestler who's not actually from Japan, addicted to anime, has been watching them for 2 days. I felt violated. I felt as if though my privacy, everything that I had ever built in my life, was now under attack because this man had been watching me for a very long period of time. Long enough to know that I walk home, and long enough to organize 14 kids to follow me home, all right? Do you understand how much coordination that takes? I can't even get people to text me back in my group projects when I was in high school, and this man managed to build half an army to come square up with me in the middle of my driveway. So there we are in the driveway, trying to be some savages, and then Grant, being the good friend he is, goes, well, if you guys really want to throw down, you're gonna have to throw down with all of us. And at this point, I'm pretty sure I'm actually living in an anime, okay? I don't know if you've ever heard a group of friends be like, haha, if you mess with one of us, then you mess with all of us, ahaha, but I'm pretty sure that's what Grant was doing. We were actually in a live episode of Naruto, and my parents weren't going to be home for like another hour or 2, so I was like, well, I mean, if we are going to throw down, now's the time to do it. And I'm not even kidding you. When the anime kids got the chance to throw down, I don't think I've ever seen them like be more excited in their entire life. They were like, finally, all these rec center karate classes I've been taking since I was 8 are going to come in handy. All the time I spent watching Naruto for combat is going to come in handy. And I'm not even kidding you, bro. The chubby kid with the Naruto headband with the glasses on looks down, looks up, pushes up his glasses, and says, gladly. Like, it was the most anime thing I've ever seen, all right? Don't get me wrong, anime can be super dope, especially in that moment, because as cringy as it was also freaking cool, okay? Like, I'm not even gonna lie, being in a movie fight scene has always been a goal of mine in life. Like, that's something I've always wanted to do. Don't ask me why, I'm a little bit weird, but just something about like dun 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 gladly, and pushing up the glasses and then just going to fist combat to try to murder each other. Turn up, bro. Like, if you're medicated, if you're not medicated, shout out mental illness, you know what I mean? Jesus is the one. Also, sorry if my voice is sounding a little bit weird. I am a little sick. It's no reason. Also, comment down below if you know what song I just sang, because I don't know, it's a good song and I hope people know what it is. But regardless, when he says, cha-cha, gladly, they all take a step forward and get in, like, their weird, like, ninja combat stance. And the one thing you have to understand is, while me and Grant may not be fighters, we have a group of friends that is very known for mischief. I tend to get into the type of mischief where I'm pranking people and, you know, I might steal a candy bar or 2, but nothing too crazy. That was the type of mischief that I was into. And, you know, Grant wasn't really into mischief. He was a good kid, didn't get in trouble a lot. But we had friends that, you know, have been arrested and just genuinely like to throw down, you know what I mean? And when this starts going down, basically it's 14 anime kids versus 8 people fighting. I don't remember exactly how it started. I don't know who swung first or what, but the next thing I know, there was a flurry of combat going on. You know that, like, in Super Smash Bros, when you turn on all the bots at once and there's like 9 people fighting each other in one Super Smash Bros stage? I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. I'm not a big fighter. I'm not a giant guy. by. I'm fighting some weeaboos. Weeaboos are fighting other people. Grant's fighting a weeaboo. I look back. Someone has picked up a skateboard and is swinging in circles like he's going to take off like a helicopter. It's a wild situation. There's a fight going on. I don't remember much of the fight, much details. All I know is that the fight's probably going for a minute or two, and then my neighbor, who is an old man, probably 78 years old, comes out and just starts yelling at us from across the street and goes, break it up, break it up, break it up. But if you've ever tried to break up a fight before, especially with that many people, it's not too easy. A 78-year-old man yelling, back in Nam, we used to fight with each other like this, isn't gonna like do anything. No one's actually listening to it. So this poor old man who's trying to break up all these kids fighting is not doing a very good job. Not for lack of trying. He was yelling his little heart out. I'm pretty sure at one point his heart grew vocal cords to try to yell a little bit louder. And he goes back inside for a couple seconds. And I remember distinctly watching him go inside and then coming around the side yard with a hose. Okay, and this old man, for his career for a long time, was a firefighter, so this man knew how to wield a hose. It wasn't a fire hose, don't get me wrong. Homeboy didn't like smack the side of a fire hydrant off and start blasting us like we were like protesting Brown versus the Board of Education. Okay, like that was not what happened. It was not one of those situations. But he gets his hose and just starts spraying the crowd of people with the hose to try to break it up. And it almost seemed like out of a music video. Okay, it looked like something you would see in an early 2000s rap video. Just a bunch of anime kids and normal kids fighting each other with a hose spraying in the air, getting everyone wet. It was basically the most ghetto water park that I've ever been to. But thankfully, I guess the water was enough to slap sense into all of us, and we all realized how absolutely ridiculous what we were doing was. Like, these kids literally followed me home and started a gang fight in the middle of the street because I made fun of anime. Like, if that's not next level cringe, I don't know what is. And I get it, you know, people making fun of things you like isn't always sick. Like, no one likes when their stuff gets made fun of. But if somebody's making fun of my YouTube channel, I don't follow them home, okay? Like, that's not what I'm about. If I'm up in the club and someone's like, yo, I hate your scrubby videos, man, they're terrible, I'm not like, that's it. We're throwing hands outside, man. Prepare yourself for the ultimate form of combat, death. Like, no, that's not what I'm going for, but that's what they did. So the hose calms us down, and very slowly but surely the fighting dwindles down, and then the anime kids like all group up probably 10-15 feet away from our group. And what's weird is in all that fighting, nobody got severely messed up. Like, no one had black eyes, nobody's nose was bleeding, which is really weird because when that many people are like throwing hands, you expect something to go down, all right? It's not normally that calm. That's not normally the situation at hand. And the anime kids looking at our group of people start like staring at us and whispering to each other, and me and all my friends are like, what is going on? This is the weirdest situation I've ever been a part of. To this day, I have never been in a weirder, dangerous situation. Like, it's almost like staring down a pack of hungry hyenas from The Lion King. I don't know why I'm making so many Lion King references today, but I am, and I'm kind of feeling it, you know? So my group is kind of like, hey, Hakuna Matata, we shouldn't have done this, whatever. We're just going to keep booing. There's another Lion King reference for all you savages. And we just like kind of look at them and are waiting for them to leave because this is my house. I don't know if they were trying to stare us down to see who would leave first, but I'm not moving because these weeaboo kids are outside. Like, first of all, my parents would be very confused when I went, Mom, we have to buy a new house because I fought a bunch of anime kids outside. Like, that's not what my mom would be down for. She'd probably ground me, at which point I'd be even closer to the house that the weeaboo kids are now taking over, and no one wins in that scenario. So after a minute or two about just staring at us with this intensity of like, I am the next Hokage, and I have discovered the secret to the formula of life. Their leader, chubby glasses Naruto headband guy, walks up to us and says, my clan respects your combat, and we prefer to have no further altercation, and bows, like puts his hands together and bows. Keep in mind, this dude's name is Clarence, and he is a chubby white kid, so if you've ever been bowed to by a Clarence like that, it's a weird feeling. I know why kings like it now, though. If I was a king, I'd make everyone bow. I'd make everyone walk around bowing. Everyone would look at their feet and not know where they're going and be walking into stuff. It'd be chaos, but being bowed to feels pretty dope. And so I didn't know what to do. So I bowed back because I don't know what to do. He stayed bowed for a weirdly long time. Like for 30 seconds was just bowed. And I was like, okay. So I bowed back and he goes, you're very respectful in combat. And then goes back to his group and they walked away. They didn't say any words. I don't know where they were going. I don't know if they knew how to get out of my neighborhood because they had followed me home. But they walked away. And I don't know how they explained to their parents what they were doing. They're like, oh yeah, I'm part of an after-school program where we challenge people who disrespected us to combat. But I guess, you know, to each their own. You know, I guess people are a little wild and a little zany out there. Regardless, moral of the story is if you make fun of anime kids, they'll follow you home from high school and try to destroy you in combat. Seriously though, guys, what's weird is I would see them around school after this, obviously, because we went to the same school, and it's not like every day when you're at the same school, you know, like you don't see each other. It's not like after this situation we were never going to see them again. And whenever they would see us or my group of friends that were there, they would stop in the hallway and bow, and they wouldn't stop bowing until you bowed back, which is a really weird social custom. Like, hey, remember that time I stalked you back to your house and then I challenged you to combat and your neighbor had to spray us with a hose to stop? Yeah, we should bow to each other now to like show a sign of respect. And how do I respect someone that stalked me home? But regardless, I would bow back just to keep the hallway moving, because the last thing I want is that kid as a statue for like 8 years, you know? The graduating class of 2018 has been gone for 17 years, but the anime kid is still there. It's 2045. There's flying cars in the hallway. At one point, I'm pretty sure that Becky had like the iPhone 47 and was taking a picture. So, yeah, I guess one thing I can say about the weeaboo kids is they are very respectful after you best them in combat and get sprayed with a fire hose together. But, yeah, if you guys enjoyed, there's going to be a playlist and the first part of the video down below. If you watch this one first, then you're a naughty little boy who doesn't follow the rules. But if you want to see more stories I've made about weird kids and stuff and about my life, you should stick on the channel and watch a couple more videos, because I've got a ton. There's a playlist down below if you want specific videos that you should just watch and see. But, yeah, if you're new, stick around, watch a couple more videos. If you turn on notifications, you can also get a shout out by sending it to me over on my Instagram at Scrubby. Today's notification shout out goes to Swaglord87. I liked your name, so I decided to give you a shout out. Big thank you for having on notifications. I greatly appreciate it. And on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. And if you do, make sure they're hot. Have an absolutely incredible day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I'm out. Peace.